Halo Sir, nama saya Jennifer, nomor MPM saya 2041164, saya dari kelas 2 VUMF. Di video ini, saya akan menjelaskan topik mengenai public execution atau eksekusi publik. As we all know, public execution is a form of death penalty that can be attended by the general public voluntarily. The implementation of public executions are really fun, but there are still several countries that still holds a public executions, such as China, North Korea, Iraq, and Iran. There are several important reasons why the implementation of public execution is still being carried out in several countries. The first reason why the implementation of public execution is still carried out in some countries is that it is more effective than any other types of punishments because it has a deterrent effect, which means a strategy to prevent the enemy from taking action that has not yet been started, or to prevent the enemy from doing something that other countries expect in the crime of murder. The second reason is that public executions are more effective than other punishment. The purpose of the reason is that public executions are carried out because the judge have done this to indicate that the person has made a mistake that has been warned by the government. In other words, public executions are done to scare off other evildoers to do not the same mistake as the person who was public executed. The third reason is to prevent public assaults against the criminals. Society will bring justice to the criminals themselves if they have caused trouble and will immediately ask the judges to give justice. The final reasons why the implementation of the public execution is still being carried out in some countries is that it is the only sentence that can be determined with certainty because murderers who are sentenced to life are often pardoned. Public execution is indeed implemented by the government to frighten the people, even though there are some people who disagree. But they still obey it for their own good, because public execution not only humiliate criminals, but their family are also highlighted by the community, which brings us to a relation that if we had done a crime, the only one that will get humility isn't just the criminal, him or herself, but also the family who had raised him or her. As an example for comparisons, China often executes public executions, especially for cases involving corruption, drugs, and money laundering. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, perpetrators of corruption, drug dealer or user, and money laundering rarely get publicly executed. They would usually end up being sentenced to jail and located up for as long as the size of the case incriminated. There are still many reasons why the implementation of public execution is still being carried out in several countries. The government has created some rules that are fair and good for the people, so that it needs public awareness to obey and implement them. Sekian penjelasan saya mengenai public execution atau eksekusi publik. Mohon maaf jika saya ada salah pengucapan kata. Sekian dari saya, terima kasih.